Fantastic. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Hope you're doing well. I was really stalling this one just now. I've been meaning to sit down. I didn't really have too much planned for this, so that's probably part of the reason I was stalling just now. But I wrote down a couple things. There's a couple things that have been on my mind, and also I just wanted to do it. I guess, like, again, it's really interesting. Like, I've been pretty good with doing this. But yeah, like I mentioned just now, I was feeling it. I was like, let me just kill time for a little bit, or tell myself that I don't have enough time before I'm about to go do what I do next. Yeah, I was trying to like talk myself out of it, ease my way out of it. But no, I was like, okay, at the very least, I can just do like a quick 20, 30-minute check-in. It doesn't have to be, on the longer side. At least the longer side for what I've been doing so far. But anyways, yeah, like I mentioned, it'll be like a quick check-in on where I'm at, some big picture things that I've been thinking about, and again, part of this is just me is doing like a verbal diary, let's say, and it's just publicly available once again. But I'll start with the first thing that's pretty cool. I have some new clients, like some fairly recent clients. That are two girls. One is in 8th grade, one is in 6th grade. And today I went to go watch the older one play, and pretty much spent the afternoon with their family. They got a big family, I think 6 kids, if I count correctly. Yeah, 6 kids. And just really cool, really chill family all around. So it was nice to hang out with them. Mostly chopping it up with Dad. And yeah, getting to know him a little bit, him getting to know me. Just felt like a really wholesome time. And yeah, getting to know these kids a little bit more, getting to know the family a little bit more. So it felt cool. I guess the reason, here's like the interesting thing I wanted to bring that up when I was thinking about it is like when they asked me, like, oh, you want to go grab some food? In those situations, I'm terrible in, because I would love to, but then I also know that, it's going to take some time, and like in my mind, I'm like, is it going to put me in a bad spot for whatever I have to do next? Or, do I have enough time for this? But then I don't want to, I suck at saying no. That's, there you go. This is kind of cool. So that's coming up too. So yeah, I do suck at saying no. I'm not good at it. I've been working on it, for a long time. Many reasons for that. Don't have to get into it right now, but yeah, I'm pretty bad at it, but I'm working at it. And I did not say no. I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like, what are you thinking about going? We went to In-N-Out, and in those moments, like, I really could go either way. Like, I would be perfectly fine if that didn't happen, right? But I guess one of the reasons for saying yes that I've kind of had a lot of experience with, and I believe in, is like, you never know what could come of those conversations, those situations. And most of the time when I say yes, even though I'm like, I don't really know, I'm not sure, a decent amount of the time it actually turns out to be a really cool experience. And just something that I'm grateful for, like just chopping it up with Dad and getting to know his kids, him telling me about his kids and his work and where he's from, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It again, is just really wholesome. And I do walk away from that feeling pretty good. Just like, oh, that was time well spent, honestly. But yeah, I do suck at saying no. It's hard though. Yeah. So what point was I trying to make? Oh yeah, like when you say yes in those situations, even though your mind is kind of like, I'm good off this. It's nice sometimes to just take people up on opportunities, requests, proposals like that. So anyhow, there was a kid that just climbed up on the basketball hoop in a precarious position. So I was just watching him make it safely back down. But yeah, that's how I spent my afternoon. It was a good time. I feel good. Now I'm here at the park, chilling. There's people out and about playing basketball. And how am I feeling? Feeling pretty good. Happy to be alive. That's something I've been telling myself a lot recently, and people around me that I gravitate towards and talk to when I get the chance to. They share like similar energy, similar spirit. Like there's a teacher, a pretty new teacher that she teaches math, and for whatever reason, excuse me, not for whatever reason, but there was one time where I might as well share the backstory to it. Why not? We're here. She subbed for my class. She was the first sub that I had this year, and it was a really pleasant experience. No, actually, I lied. Second sub. Third. Whatever. Doesn't matter. She subbed for my class, and then I checked in on her like halfway through the day because I was still in the building, and she was just a really nice person. And then she started helping out as a sub for the math class, and then the math teacher had to leave and so she took over the math class. And there was one day she had just asked me how I was doing, and pretty much told her I was going through it, and she could sense that I was going through it, like a rough day essentially, school-wise, students-wise, my classroom-wise. And we had a quick conversation. She had like some thoughts to share, and pretty much like thoughts to share, words of encouragement, different perspective. I can't remember the details of what we talked about, but it was pretty much like, yeah, everything you're experiencing, everything you're feeling is totally valid, and it's a pretty hard situation. But anyways, from then on, we've been pretty cool friends, you could say, like pretty cool co-workers. And why am I bringing this up? Oh yeah, yesterday I saw her stop by her class real quick, and she was singing this song like "I'm Better Than Better," and pretty much saying like the spirit was, I'm happy to be alive, I'm happy to be here. Because I am here, I'm doing better than better, right? Like whatever better is, double it. And it was just really cool. Her energy is real solid, real genuine, and it is much needed, because sometimes I try to carry that same energy, that same spirit as well, as much as I can in my life, and I think I do a pretty good job of it. But there are times when I'm the rabbit hole, the deep dark hole of cynicism can creep up, nihilism, those kinds of emotions. They can creep, they linger, and if you stay in that too much, it can get a little bit dark, a little bit bleak. And yeah, that's why we need people around us to help bring us out and switch our perspective, give us a different view every now and then. And so people like this new math teacher are really, really cool, really appreciated, especially in my life. And it's so interesting. Here's another moment that I've had recently that just came to mind. But what I was going to say before that is, it's like life gives you these little people here and there that just stop by for whatever reason and give you enough to keep it pushing. They're like, damn, like, thank you for recognizing like what I'm doing, which is a whole different thing. But yeah, it's just cool that if you pay attention, random people in your life, or maybe not so random, right? But like people you might not expect, or surprises, right? That pop in and help keep you going, give you a little bit of something. So really cool. But the other moment that I wanted to share that was much appreciated, much needed, I think it was Thursday. Man, it was a rough day. This past like couple weeks been rough. I'm not gonna lie. In my class, it's been quite rough. Which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, this past Thursday was pretty rough, and in those situations I'm just like deep in thought, not really engaged, and it's a little hard. I mean, I just try to walk around and be a little stoic, but obviously it's like people can tell body language, body language, energy, not saying much, that something is up. And yeah, it's kind of hard to hide that. But anyways, Thursday was a rough day, and I was just sitting in my classroom. The door was open, and I was too lazy to go close it, so I was just sat there with my head fucking down, just, oof, what am I doing? Right? Taking my break, like, just, ooh, one of those situations. And another guy, this guy, his name is Mr. Howard. He's a sub for our school and the school across the street, so he does it all. He does the elementary and the middle school. And him and I, we've had conversations here and there too, which is just awesome. So grateful, and that's part of the reason why I'm bringing it up. Like, we've had pretty good conversations just about school, about the kids, about education, about sports, and he's a cool person. And he walked by, he saw me, and he was like, he knew what it was. He's like, I know, it looks like it was a rough day, eh? And, we had a quick little conversation, and he pretty much just offered his words of encouragement. But the way he did it was just one of those moments that felt really genuine. And again, it's just a small gesture of stopping by and saying, what's up? I see, I feel you. You're gonna be all right. You're doing a great thing. You're working hard. So keep at it. And so, I'm just really grateful for those opportunities, those situations, those people that come in and just drop a little bit, just drop some wholesome stuff on you. It means a lot. It's much appreciated. And again, it's like, it really does help me keep it pushing when I'm deep in a rut or whatever. But there was one more thing. It also just came to mind as I'm speaking on this. But I think something really cool, worth sharing, worth discussing, that I've done a lot recently is, so basically the situation is, if you make eye contact with somebody, anybody, like you're just walking in a public place and then you make eye contact with somebody, well, you can respond to that in all kinds of ways, like smile, wave, look away, all kinds of stuff, right? But what I've been doing recently, and I imagine it's probably people have done it for as long as humans have been, conscious and aware, is just the gesture is essentially like the tip of the hat, like you're saying what's up, but instead of lifting your head up, you're kind of tipping your head down. And I think for most people, in my experience, when I've done this, they recognize that as it's just like a friendly gesture, essentially, like a friendly acknowledgement of the person, the human. And most of the time, people respond either with the same gesture or a smile. And I've actually had a similar experience with the peace sign. Although the peace sign might not be as universal. I think it's obviously recognized, but I think the other gesture will probably get you more responses. I don't know. Who knows? Doesn't matter, right? Essentially, the ideas I've experienced a similar thing with the peace sign. But anyways, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I think it's a cool thing that most people could do. And here's another reason. So I think it's a cool thing nonetheless, right? Just spread some positivity, acknowledge people, recognize them, and do it in such a small, subtle way. But for me, and maybe for other people too, the interesting part of it is not looking away when you make eye contact with somebody. So I have, at least, here and there, it hasn't always been like this, but here and there I'll have trouble with eye contact with people. And so this has been a way for me to challenge myself and say, okay, you've made eye contact with somebody. At the least, before you look away, give an acknowledgement, right? Like, again, tip your hat type of gesture. If you're not going to say anything, right? Like, you could say howdy, greetings, whatever is your greeting word, but at the least, just tip the hat. And I've been doing that quite a bit recently. And again, I only bring this up because it has been a good experience. Like, most people respond kindly, or they smile, or they do the same thing. And it's just, again, it's a small win. When is this gonna go out? I've talked about it recently, like these little small wins that add up, and just, I don't know, like, they're like rejuvenate you in the day, in the moments, right? Like, you could be going through it, and then somebody comes up to you and tells you, like, hey, I see what you're doing, I respect what you're doing. And they just give a little bit of something, enough to keep you going for the rest of the day, to keep it pushing to the next one. Because, yeah, you need those moments. You need like a break station, refuel station, if life is like a video game or an adventure. Re-up, get right, keep it pushing. So that's something to think about, something to try out. If you make eye contact with people, tip the hat. And yeah, don't be scared of eye contact. Get used to it. Embrace it. All of it, all the emotion, all the awkwardness, all the feelings that come with that. What else can I say? You know what? How much time do I have? Okay, I think we can do it. So I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'll just intro this idea for the time being, because I think this warrants a full discussion, full thought process, full layout, at least as far as my mind can take it. And I haven't done that exactly yet, so it's going to take me some time because I'm in the midst of it. But essentially, I've been thinking a lot about the education system as of late, of course, because I'm in the mix right now. I'm a teacher. The school I'm at is what is a euphemism? It's quite the circus at times. It feels like that, and then you mix on top of it everything else that you're trying to accomplish at school, whether it just be the behavior management, the learning, culture, community, restoration, all kinds of stuff, right? Activities, rules. Woo! It is quite the circus. And me, the type of person that I am, I'm just like, I try to aim for efficiency in most things that I do. And being that I see a lot of things that are just not working, or just like really dragging the feet of everybody, it's hard my mind not to start thinking, what's going on here? What are we trying to do here? Are we doing it the right way? What could be different? All kinds of thoughts, right? So I've been thinking about that a lot recently. And it also doesn't help that, a lot of the other people around me have similar thoughts, or different, just their own grievances, right? But following the same ideas, just like what we're doing is, there's a lot of question marks, let's say. So yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot. What can I say about it now that I haven't fully fleshed out? It's like, of course, I know I'm not the only person to have thought these thoughts. I'm sure there are plenty of other people out there thinking the same thing, thinking about how we can reimagine education. But I guess what I can say is, I've been feeling so strongly, and this could be because I am in the midst of this, but I've even had this thought before, which is, I think sometimes things need a complete overhaul, and it's kind of jumping to the extreme a little bit here, and maybe that doesn't have to be the ultimate solution, but we've kind of got to push the boundaries of what do we think about education and educating the future, educating young people. What do they need to know at this time in life in 2023? I think it's a question worth asking nonetheless, right? Do we have to make radical changes? Of course not. Are there things about school in its current element that are good and beneficial? Absolutely. But I think at least the thought process of what we can do the boundaries of that need to be pushed a little bit. And yeah, I've been feeling it, man. I think it's tough. I think one of the biggest thoughts that I've had recently is like, we're keeping all these kids in the same room, same thing every day. And for some of them, it's the idea is like trying to do a one-size-fits-all approach for these kids. And as much as you try to, adapt whatever it is that you're doing, to different learning styles, different personalities, it still feels like, for the most part, they probably feel like we're just doing the same thing. You're just trying to put a different spin on it. So I wasn't engaged before. I'm not going to be engaged now. And at least that's my sense of the situation. Again, I'm new to all of this. I'm just taking it in as I go. I don't try to put too much emotion, too much weight on it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And again, I've already thought long before working as a teacher that education needed an overhaul, just from a lot of what I've been hearing from friends, from my own experience. But yeah, it's like we could do things differently, make things more relatable, more practical. And obviously it's easier said than done, but I think we're at a time, we're at a place where things need serious reevaluation of what we're doing, what we're trying to get out of it. So it's something I've been thinking about a lot. Again, I would have to spend a little bit more time to fully flesh out my thoughts and get into the weeds of things. But I think broadly speaking, that's where I'm at. It's kind of been where I'm at for a long time, again, before I've been a teacher. So it's, something to think about. It's like, what can we really push the boundaries on of doing things differently? What can we learn that is way different than what we're doing now, but still have like big impact on the development of young people and their potential future, whatever that looks like, and their integration into the world, essentially, as young people, as young adults, is the future. So, something to think about. I will say a positive from this past week is it's just a cool win for me. I had a conversation with the kids about what is money. I put together a basic slide. So for those that aren't familiar, if you just Google like the I think it's six. If you just Google like the 6 characteristics of money, like one of the first links is from the St. Louis Federal Reserve, I want to say. Anyway, something like that. But whatever you find, you're probably going to get the 6 characteristics of money. And if I can remember, it's like portability, durability, divisibility, limited supply, acceptance, and I'm probably missing one. Security might be one of them, but that might be just limited supply. Anyways, Google 6 characteristics of money, and I went through that with my students, and that was actually a really good, interesting conversation. A lot of them were engaged. I think anytime you can talk about money in a way that makes sense to most people, they'll be engaged. So that was a really cool win from this past week. It was a good conversation, and cool for me too, just to review my conceptual understanding of what is money. Obviously, just very, very surface level, but it is interesting to walk through, try to speak on to a whole bunch of 6th graders. It was cool. Switching back to not that it's the bad side, but it's something related to what I've just been talking about. So like feeling it in the school setting, just thinking a lot about how we could do things differently. It has been taxing, let's say. I wouldn't say, I guess you could say it's been stressful, because it does feel quite stressful in certain moments, but nonetheless very taxing on the body. And it's been a real challenge because, yes, challenging regardless, but it's been challenging because No. Let me rewind here. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me, figuring this out, fleshing out my ideas live. So essentially what I'm trying to say is it has challenged my ability to handle stress. That is the point that I'm trying to convey here. In those moments, right, when I'm mid-lesson speaking on something and you've got kids just blatantly talking or doing some other stuff, it does feel stressful in those moments, and it has challenged my ability to manage myself in those times. So one of the things, like, it seems to work if you do it well enough, which is yelling, but I do my best not to yell. And so before I address whatever behavior situation just happened, I really do need to calm myself down, just because, again, I prefer not to yell if at all possible. Like, I would like to just address the situation sternly without having to raise my voice. But sometimes the situation calls for it. Sometimes I'm just so fed up that I'd let it out. But again, for the most part, I've been trying to really just, take a deep breath, relax, calm, and then handle it, right? That's like an acute situation. But then it's also like you have to be able to handle the stresses of the day as well. And so everything that I've done, I didn't mention this quite so much last week, but like the hot sauna, of course the sauna is hot, you dummy. The sauna and the cold showers that I've done recently and a couple other things have really been put to the test. Let's say, like, am I getting the benefit out of those situations? And I would say for the most part, yes. It really has helped my ability to manage stressful situations when they do come up, because they are going to come up. I can't avoid it. And for me, I just want to be at least in control of what I'm doing. I don't want to let anything get the best of me. I want to be able to manage my emotions as much as possible, and I want to be able to manage stress as much as possible. So something to think about, I think, for all of us. I guess the big picture question there is just like, what are your stress management tactics, strategies in the moment? If I put you in a room, boom, stress is on 10, on 100, right? How are you going to walk yourself through that? How are you going to get through that situation? I think it's really something important for all of us to consider, because, again, life is going to hit you upside down, sideways, all kinds of ways. And, I think having something to rely on, some tools, some strategies. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of people are talking about this, but, have some real stuff that you can lean on. Breathing, patience, whatever it is. So think about it. I've been thinking about it a lot. And let's see here. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Like I said, it was just a quick check-in. I wanted to get myself to do it. I was hella stalling before this, trying to come up with all kinds of excuses not to do it, but I wanted to do it nonetheless. I'm excited about this next upcoming month, upcoming 2 months. It's going to be busy. It's going to be a whirlwind. You're probably going to hear me say a lot of similar things, but I'm excited about it. I'll quickly mention that I started a basketball team for 5th and 6th grade, 12 and under. My first team that I started. So that'll be a lot of fun. I think I've got a pretty good group. I'm excited about them. And I've been playing a lot of basketball, having a good time with my friends there, so very grateful. I'm just very grateful to be alive, honestly. I've been saying that a lot to myself recently. I know it's cliche, but it really does. It really is a good reminder when you really, really embrace like what that means. Like, I really am happy to be alive. Black swan of black swans. So I'll leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, hit me up. Tell me what you think. Oh, no, not even tell me what you think. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me what you've been up to recently. Again, if you made it this far. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next time.